And we are back, folks. Another edition of the Michigan Insider Breakdown, defensive side of the ball with former Michigan assistant, longtime defensive coordinator at multiple stops, including Texas, Louisville, Oklahoma State, has coached the game in the pros and at the college level. And he's my guy, Vance Bedford. Vance, how you doing this week?
I'm doing fantastic. Another big win for the Big Blue. Another great defensive showing like we talked about.
Yeah, man, you absolutely are right. Look, you know, or you see a weakness, you got to be able to pick at it, to capitalize on it, to exploit it. And we saw Michigan do that to a T. Wisconsin had been having problems all year protecting their quarterback. But I don't know that they had as many problems they had against Michigan, because you talk about dialing up pressure, Vance. I mean, Mike McDonald, he dialed up pressure every single down. And even when he didn't dial up pressure, the front four was getting there.
I mean, they had the offensive line confused. They gave him a variety of looks up front, from 3 down to a bear look where they covered everybody up. They had 3 down, walked all the linebackers up. The entire offensive line was confused. So you had a lot of one-on-one blocks. And the quarterback, he started watching the pressure instead of looking downfield to throw the football. So, Mike did a fantastic job as far as mixing calls up. Like I said, I get excited every time I watch Michigan play. I mean, he is doing a tremendous job. And like I told you now, I'm expecting big things out of the Michigan defense this year. Big Ten championship, look out.
Hey, man, look, it's one of those things where before the season, I think people were, and rightfully so, reluctant to mention Michigan in the mix with top teams in the Big Ten. But, Vance, every team that's been in front of them, they've beaten. And while Wisconsin wasn't the team that we thought they were, you go into Madison and beat that squad, you've done something.
They hadn't beaten Wisconsin and Madison, I believe, since 2001. So think about what they just did. Except for maybe the series before the half, the Michigan defense really went in there and physically put a beating on Wisconsin's offense. And that was really how the game really went. And when I see that, I get truly excited about everything I see, because to go there against that offense and do what they just did, wow, that's all I can say, wow.
Yeah, so there were a lot of stars. I mean, so many names that we can call, but I just feel like every game that you talk about the Michigan defense, you got to start out talking about that young fella, young Mr. Aiden Hutchinson, because Aiden Hutchinson is having himself one heck of a year. I saw Mel Kiper's recent big board. He had him listed as the number 5 player in the NFL draft. Vance, you've seen a lot of pros. How does number 97 look to you?
You know what? He is doing an outstanding job right now. To me, it's too early in the year to start ranking guys. Now, Mel Kiper, he's an expert. He makes millions of dollars doing that. The guy's shown a lot of upside. He's gotten better and better each ball game. And the things I see, he shows great awareness and great instincts and ability to play more than one position. So I think that's a plus.
So one of the things that jumped out to me, Vance, I mean, the athleticism, he's showing this year that he can play standing up. He can run. I mean, he was a high school tight end. We saw him flex out and do things in that regard. You saw him at Michigan with his hand in the dirt, come off the edge. But could he drop into coverage? Could he be comfortable? Could he think on his feet like you need a stand-up guy to be able to do? And this is an example to me that real quick that I wanted to show that really stands out to me. And there were a couple of plays like this where you saw Aiden Hutchinson really, really thinking on his feet. So you see him as the stand-up there on the outside, Vance, and they try to hit him. They try to fool him with this trap pass. And look how quickly he diagnoses it. And then come up to get pressure on the quarterback anyway. They thought they were going to be able to fool him like that.
I know. I mean, again, he showed great awareness. And we pointed out a play a week ago where he made a tremendous play just recognizing what's going on. He can think on his feet. He's very alert to recognize what's going on. He recognizes blocks. A lot of guys would come underneath the puller, and they'd have been pinned inside, but instead he recognized what was going on. He stayed outside, got great pressure, and a big quarterback hit.
Right. And so there were, you would think after that, they came close to getting the quarterback killed on that play, right? And so you're like, they're not going to try that. They aren't going to try that with Aiden again, but they did. They tried to go back to the well on Aiden and get him again. But see, now, again, an example of him thinking on his feet, they try to come with a counter, Vance, but they're bringing a blitz to that side. So now look at how Aidan attacks that puller.
Man, great job. And this is a blitz they've run in several different ways. Well, now he has to come underneath because he's bringing a defensive back outside of him. So it was the right call for what they're doing, and he's done a great job in that blitz all year long. I mean, he wrong shoulders this thing. He gets 2 pullers. When you can get 2 pullers that way, it destroys the play. That is another outstanding play by Aidan.
Right, and then one last one in the sequence, Vance, because again, here they are. They're trying to do some things, get their big lineman with a head of steam to come over there and be physical with him or fool him. They came with another trap pass, and he has. Last time he almost got the quarterback. This time the backup, the starting quarterback actually completed the pass, barely got it off. This time Aidan disrupted the play altogether with the backup in there. That he wasn't fooled at all on this play.
Again, this play has not worked for him well at all. I mean, the quarterback is getting too deep. Number one, he should step up and not back. So my man's rushing off the edge. The pulling lineman's blocking out. So he helps Aidan recognize what's going on. But again, he recognizes a deep puller. That means get on top, or a low puller, which means spill a football. So again, he has great football awareness. And that's something sometimes you think you can teach, but you get in the heat of a battle and a guy make a mistake over and over again. So far this season, this young man has played outstanding, recognizing what's happening to him. Yeah,
man. Look, and if all else fails, you trying to block the man. I mean, he's beating you left and right, up and down, to and fro. You could always just do this, Vance. You could try to do this to Aidan. If you can't block him, just grab him, just grope him.
I mean, he got the guy overset him. I mean, it's a great job beating a guy inside. I mean, I love the way this guy's playing. It's intensity. He's 100 miles an hour every single snap. I would imagine after the game, he might want to go home and go to sleep because he leaves it all on the football field.
Right. So, but we know, Vance, and we kind of talked about early in the season, look, you can't be a one-man defense. You guys won the championship in '97. Charles Woodson, probably the greatest player to ever wear a uniform, but you don't win the championship if you don't have other guys on that defense that are big time. Marcus Ray, Dre Weathers, James Hall, Dahani Jones, Ian Gold. I mean, we go down the line.
Steele. I mean, it's
Glenn Steele.
A lot of NFL players you're talking about there.
Yeah.
A lot of NFL players.
Right. So you got to have other guys step up that can really, really go out there and ball out. And I think we see, other than Dax Hill, because Dax is going to bring it number 30, but who else is going to emerge? And I thought number 55, Dave Ojabo, this was a coming out party. And you brought up a play where he gets a strip sack. This was toward the end of the game. He gets a strip sack, but there was a lot going on this play, Vance, in addition to him coming off the edge and getting his second sack of the day. So I'll bring that up now, and you can talk us through it. You can talk us through his pass rush. Then you can talk us through the disguise that Michigan, that Mike McDonald had on the back end there. That is another thing that this defense has been doing well this season, disguising their blitzes, disguising their coverages. So here we go, Vance. You can take it away.
Right now you have a cover 2 shell, but if I'm offensive line and a quarterback, look at the amount of guys that walked up on the line of scrimmage right now. So that gives the offensive line something to think about. Should we block big on big? Should we block a linebacker? Right now you have 6 guys up on the line of scrimmage. We got a cover 2 look in the back end, but they have 6 guys walked up. So right now, if I'm offensive line coach, when I see this look, we should block big on big, and the back should step up in the B gap and block the linebacker, as you can see in the diagram. Mm-hmm. This is what should happen. Mm-hmm. So you're blocking 3 to the right, 3 to the left. The quarterback right now is carrying the safeties. He sees too high. But his eyes right now are seeing that pass rush. And 55, what a great job. I mean, just a speed rush. He beats this guy on a speed rush, get a strip sack right here. They only bring him full, but the offensive line cannot handle the speed because they don't know where it's coming from. And again, that's a great look drawn up by the defensive coordinator, Mike. I mean, he did a tremendous job.
Yeah,
Because you have both defensive ends one-on-one, and they both won. Both of them won.
Yeah, and that was par for the course on the day. Like I said, you know, Aiden didn't have the sack statistics per se, but he was wreaking havoc all day long. Ojabo, on the other hand, did get the sack stats. And this was one that was probably the carry. I mean, I think the game was over when they knocked the starting quarterback out of the game. And we will get to some of the running shot blitzes that they got in this game, Vance, because the quarterbacks for Wisconsin, I've never seen a Wisconsin quarterback get hit this, because normally they run the football, you know, so many times and so much better. You don't get this kind of opportunity to hit Wisconsin quarterbacks. So this was a different experience altogether.
Well, when you can get up like Michigan did early on in that game, it forces you to get out of what you like to do, and that's run the football. And Wisconsin's been behind several times this year. And when they've gotten behind, had to throw the football, you go back to Notre Dame the week before, he threw 2 interceptions for touchdowns. That's not what they do. I mean, they are a running team, throw the ball quick, throw it short, throw the screens. And right now, if you're down by 14 points, it's a different ball game now. The defensive ends Michigan's playing with right now, they can just tee off and go rush the passer.
So there was a little bit of success for Wisconsin, and I do want to focus on that because we could spend all day showing highlights, and we will show some highlights of some big hits they put on a quarterback. But let's focus for a second on the little bit of success they have moving the football through the air before the half. Got a little bit of rhythm. Graham Mertz did, a quarterback that had been struggling, taking advantage of some of that soft coverage early in the drive there, Vance. But and you talked about that, and I wonder what you think about that. The amount of sort of soft coverage that they played, and if they're going to have to tighten that up some and play a little more press. But when they did go man, when they did have some one-on-one matchups, we saw them win some battles and against Michigan's best guys. So let's do this one. Let's do cover 6. This was the post. This was the post on Dax. And the first thing I want you to do, Vance, you know, people think when a guy gets beat, oh man, he's overrated. Man, the best guys got beat. I saw Charles Woodson give up a play or two.
He gave up,
everybody
at 97 year, he gave up the most touchdowns. He gave up 2 that year. I mean, we only gave up, I think, 5 or 6 the whole year, and he was a problem. I told him, like, you the worst DB we got. You giving up touchdown passes. Getting up personal fouls with David Boston, because, you know, you get you with the overhand right, I want to get somebody else to play for you, son. But that's a different story altogether. But no, here we go right now. We're in a 2-minute situation. There's 19 seconds right now before the half. So you know they got to throw the ball deep. Okay, this is a true cover 6 beater. Okay, you can see right now we're playing quarter, half, quarters to the field, half field to the boundary. Here's the route.
So let me back it up so people can get that visual real quick again, Vance, so they can see it.
Okay, you got a half field to the boundary, quarter to the field, and the nickel back number 30, I call it a flat seam. He has number 2 on a vertical route.
Okay.
Okay. Now, the route they have is 3 verticals with a deep outcut. Okay, the outcut is going to hold the corner. So that means right now that the nickel back has to carry number 2. The safety is playing a quarters to the field. He should now chase the number 3, that tight end to the hash, because that guy's going to the backside half field safety and a linebacker on the hash. Let's let this play run and see what happens.
Okay.
So right now, the nickelback, the quarterback reading the safety. He's going to the half. He knows right now the other safety, he has a quarter to the field. So it's a 2-minute drill now.
Mm-hmm.
Number 30 is outside technique. So he's in trouble right now. It's a 2-minute drill. It is a 2-minute drill. This is a great look. The safety number 2, go back to the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Go back to the middle. It's a 2-minute drill. It's 13 seconds left in the game. That's what I'm doing right now.
Your point is anything underneath, you want them to throw it there,
right?
Yeah,
the linebacker's in great shape. He's down the hash for the tight end. And then to me, this is me, an old secondary coach, 2, you loafing. You loafing. Where's the quarterback looking? Go. What you waiting on? Invitation? You got one, son. Get to the middle of the field. I don't know. I get excited. I'm a DB. I can't help myself. To me, that's the safety. If I'm coaching, and they could be coaching something totally different. To me, it's a 2-minute drill. That tight end, he went to the far hash where the linebacker is. Give me some depth. There's 19 seconds to go. You ain't going to throw to a slow tight end and run 5 flat and 40, really?
We were focused on Dax. Dax should have had some help over the top.
He should, in my opinion, he should have had some help. He should have had some help.
Gotcha. All right.
It's a 2-minute drill. He should have had some help.
So now, very next play, Vance. Very next play.
Very next play. And I thought it was a great call by Mike. It's going to come up on the screen in a minute. He's playing one robber. So, again, we're playing one robber, guys. So, again, 2-minute drill. It's 13 seconds on the clock. As you can see, we man-to-man. Safety's coming down to the middle. Other safety's going to the deep post. So, in a situation like that, everybody should be playing outside technique. You can see the route. Number 1, coming underneath. Number 2, running a fade route. They're in empty formation.
Okay.
So, again, I think it's a good call if it's executed the right way. Okay, number 30, in my honest opinion, should be outside technique. Quarterback reading the safeties. So 30, the nickel back should be outside technique. You can see the safety rolling down. My first question is, why is a safety in a 2-minute drill driving a shallow crossing route? I got a question about that. Okay, he come down there. Why is he driving a shallow crossing route? The next thing is 30, play heavy outside. Play heavy. Don't get beat outside technique. You got a guy in a short hole, a guy in a deep hole. So again, it's more or less what we didn't do. We didn't play with great technique right now. Your nickel back should have been heavy outside, playing to the number 2 coming down and playing with the post safety.
You saying know where your help is on this play?
Know where your help is. He didn't play to his help and he got beat. He should have been heavy outside on his route. This should be a no play. It's a great call. But it's just the execution by the secondary on this particular defense. It's just technique. It's just technique. They get a good throw, good catch. But again, Nickelback, I had him wide in this situation. Play to your help. This should be a no play right now. This should be an interception or a PBU, but it should not be a touchdown. There's nothing wrong with the call. It's just execution in the back end.
All right. So, but here's what the really good ones doing. Dax Hill is a pro. Sure as his day is long, I'd be surprised if you don't hear Daxton Hill's name called in the first round. He is a special athlete. And as special athletes go, if you get him a time or two, and like you said, the first one you didn't even put on him, you put that on the safety. They come back. They get some get back, right? He got he got some get back in this game, Vance. Woo! How about we build up to that shot?
Okay.
Laid on the quarterback, because there were other running shots at the quarterback. Like I said, man, I've never seen a Wisconsin quarterback get hit like this. They just don't expose their quarterbacks like this. Whether it's how much they run the football or the type of offensive line play they typically get, this is uncharacteristic of a Wisconsin line. So the one that I want to pull up first, Vance, is the one where it wasn't actually a hit on the quarterback. You got a running shot from your Mike linebacker on the tailback. He came scot-free right up the A-gap. And we saw, I mean, they got a safety blitz there. They came scot-free. We saw, Dax Hill, we'll hear from here in a minute, where he came scot-free on the blitz. They were coming just clean on blitzes all day long. But I need you to explain why they came free. This was like the first sort of free running blitz we saw them hit on the day there in the first quarter there.
Okay. Can you look at the look? I mean, they're in a bare look right now. So they're playing man to man. I mean, this is bare Mike right here. So you have all the guys covered up. They have every offensive lineman covered up with every defensive lineman.
So I need you to explain, when you say bare Mike, explain.
Okay, you can freeze it right now. It's the old 46 defense. We got a 0, 2 3s, and 2 outside linebackers. There's a look right there. So we're playing man to man in the back end. Because of the look, the 2 outside stand-up defensive ends, they have the back man to man. And the Mike linebacker, he's blitzing through one of the A gaps based on how he has things called. Here you go right here. So they got the nose going to the side of the back, and he's coming opposite. They don't have enough guys to block this front if you're going to run the football. If all the defensive linemen stay in their gap, the Mike backer should be unfree for tackling practice. Let's let it run and see what happens. I mean, you got straight man-to-man in the secondary. Here we go. I mean, he's unblocked. It's a straight run through. He misses a tackle, but all the other guys are flying to the football, so we still get a tackle for loss. It's a great call. It's a great blitz. He timed it up perfectly, and all the other guys are scot-free. I mean, both defensive ends who technically have the back if he went out, they fold back over the top, and they both make the tackle. You can't play any better defense than this right here. I love this call. Yeah. I love the aggressive style that they are playing right now.
Yeah, you said, I mean, immediately you said, they can't get everybody.
They can't.
You said that immediately.
This is a play you should be checking to the option. I mean, let's get outside. You're kidding yourself. Man, you can see both defensive ends. They sit there waiting because they have the back. And then they see what happens. They fall inside. They get the tackle for the loss. But the backer running through on the blitz, what a great timing. He timed it up perfectly. I love it.
Right. So I mentioned that the really good ones, you get them a couple times, they're going to get you back. They don't go in a shell. They don't go in a hole for the game. Dax Hill, in my opinion, as I said before, is a really, really good one. And so they came on the second half. He got the interception a little bit later on the backup, but not until he knocked the starter out the game with a blitz, Vance, where he was shot out of a cannon. It had to be in order to cover the amount of ground that he covered to get home on this blitz, Vance. So talk me through this one, because where he came from without tipping this blitz, that's the other thing, Vance. I mean, a lot of guys, they start getting a running start toward the line of scrimmage and sort of tip that they're coming. He didn't do that, came from outside the hash and got there with authority.
Well, right here, I mean, he's reading the quarterback, the motion, so the motion helps him out. And that is a great shot. I mean, again, it goes back to what you just said, the confidence, the awareness. He knows they're going to motion a guy, got time. Once he gets set, it's time to hit it and get it. And it's well schemed up as far as how coach got the front line. Look at the front again. They got 6 guys up on the line of scrimmage, so you can't count for a nickel back. And he's unblocked. He give him a nice rib shot, stay away from the head, a legal hit. Great job by Hill. That is a great job, great timing. Hey, man, and now it's time for a new quarterback.
Man, I fell for that kid. Look.
Man, I'm on defense. I start hollering, "Sweet baby Ray's barbecue sauce, baby. Put some hot sauce to spice it up. I'm good to go." I mean, it's not his fault they didn't know how to protect him. I'm good. Sweet baby Ray's, we're advertising for you, baby. That's right.
Hey, man, I just, at some point, it's like the mercy rule, because that dude got hit every which way but loose. They could not.
Again, when you're a running team, all of a sudden you're trying to throw the football, you're not used to pass protection. And all the different fronts we give them on defense, they didn't have an answer for it. They were not ready for that. They're a team that can't fall behind. They've shown that 2 weeks in a row. They need the game to be close in the fourth quarter where they could run the football. If not, Wisconsin's going to have a long season this year.
Yeah, there was another play that we talked about, the awareness of Aiden Hutchinson, knowing where your help is, sort of reading your keys and seeing some tips. There was some times on the back end where you say, "Hey, all right, guys, we weren't necessarily aware of the situation as we need to be." But that was the exception to the rule. They actually caught Michigan a couple of times just on that drive. But throughout the game, we saw high IQ football. And one of the plays you pointed out was, big Mazi Smith right there in the middle sniffing out this screen.
Oh, nose guard. I love it. Oh, I love when the big fellas make play. Let those boys go eat. Again, we got a man-to-man blitz on right now. And the recognition of what he does is he sees what's going on. He's rushing. He sees the screen. He retraces, gets his hand up. But I love when the big fellas make plays like that. That's how you win big games. 4th down and 4. Great recognition. He sees what's going on, gets his hands up. Because they actually got his block now. We blocked. They got enough guys to have a big play, but they come across. He sees it, gets his hands up. It's all good, baby. Let's go home with a win.
Yeah, man. It was that was going to be a huge play for Wisconsin. If he catches that football, he has a blocker. He has a lot of green grass in front of him too to make. I
Yeah,
don't
but
know
you
if
know,
it's
old man should tell me, if wishes was fishes, the seas would be full. So guess what? We got no wishes right now, baby. Big man got his hands up playing volleyball. Let's go home.
yeah, he did, man. So look, when a team is struggling, when a team is down, when they're wounded, don't let them get healthy on you. Used to have a coach say that. Don't let them get healthy on you. Don't let them get right on your account. And Michigan did a very, very good job of that, of keeping an opponent down, putting them down. Now they go and they face an opponent that probably does some things, Vance, that have given them trouble, probably will do some things that have given them trouble in past games. And one of the things that struck me in talking to you about the Wisconsin game, you just felt like they didn't pay attention to the things that had given Michigan trouble heading into this game.
They really didn't. I mean, we talked about the previous two ball games. You saw certain formations from unbalanced to extra tight ends over, and they running some zone read play, some power play, and Michigan didn't get a line properly. And I'm watching Wisconsin. I told you last week, they will show these formations versus Michigan. They didn't show any of those formations whatsoever. And that's what they used to do in the past. I mean, they made it easy for us. They're going to spread us out, run 2-by-2 formations, and it made it easy for us. They gave us nothing that we had seen the previous 2 weeks. That's what normally people do. It's a copycat conference. Everybody across the conference, if somebody has success against you, the next week you're going to see some of those plays. Well, guess what we didn't see? Any of those plays. And even as a defensive coordinator, if I saw something that worked against a team, and if it fit something that we could implement in our defense, we would put that in for that next game because why it worked months before, let's see can it work again. And the same thing most offensive coaches would do. I didn't see any of that versus Wisconsin offense. So that they helped us out by doing what they always do. They played simple, tried to be physical. They got behind early, then they had to throw the football. It was Katie bar the door. It was over with.
So if you're scouting Nebraska, they just blew the doors off Northwestern. They shot themselves in the foot in a couple of games. They very, very easily could have beaten Oklahoma. They gave the game to Michigan State on special teams. They dominated Michigan State in the second half of that game defensively. I think Michigan State might have had 2 yards of offense and then scored a touchdown when they kicked opposite their coverage. I was like, how does that happen on a college football team? Your coverage is going one direction and you kick the opposite way. I've never seen that in a college game before, but Nebraska did it. I say that to say they have really done themselves in. They're a better football team than the record shows. So if you are looking at Michigan's defense, Vance, and you see what giving you guys trouble in the past, what are you most concerned with when you look at Nebraska?
They're gonna spread them out. They're gonna motion. They'll give them bunch formations. They're gonna see if they could play bunch formations and stack formations. Can they adjust with all the man-to-man they do? They're gonna try to get guys isolated one-on-one as far as throwing the football. And on the inside, you're gonna see some zone read play. That's what he's done in the past. And again, with different formations and motions, trying to find the weaknesses of Michigan's defense. And they're gonna see if you're gonna give me a blitz look, can you cover me one-on-one? And I think that's my biggest concern about Michigan's defense right now. If you give us a blitz look and you're playing man free, can we hold up down in and down out? And we need to get better at those particular situations playing the ball because you can't blitz every snap. Mm-hmm. If you do, eventually you're going to get burned. It's just a matter of time. I don't care who you have back there. And we saw some things in that 2-minute drill. The 2-minute drill, just 2 plays back to back. Technically, you were man-to-man and you gave up 2 big plays and one was a touchdown. And that's what they're looking at right now. Let's throw some deep balls on Michigan. Let's get in 3-by-1 formations. Let's run some zone read play like Rutgers did with certain formations running the football. And let's see, can they adjust and can they stop us by doing these things?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess that would be the thing that I look at the most. I mean, Noah Vedral is not the athlete at the quarterback position that Adrian Martinez is. Adrian Martinez is a better runner than what they saw with Vedral. And Vedral obviously had a pretty good day. And Adrian Martinez has been throwing the football at a much better clip than Noah Vedral. I think they've thrown for over 200 yards in every game. So
the biggest thing about a scrambling quarterback, Sam, is that you got to be careful. If you get out of your rush lane and you play man-to-man, guys have their back to the ball, he can go 50 yards on you real fast. Mm-hmm. And that's the concern about playing a scrambling quarterback, that everyone must stay in a rush lane, especially if you have a blitz on, because if he gets out, there's nobody else left but the end zone. So you have to be real careful of that. If you can keep the ball inside and front and make people drive 75 yards and 70 yards, if they get an offside or holding penalty, all of a sudden now it's 2nd and 15 or 2nd and 20, and that's how you win ball games. So right now, for the most part, Michigan has kept the ball inside and in front. You know, a few times early in the year, we came up from press and got the ball thrown over our heads. So, you know, they run four press. Four press means for the corner, you're in zero coverage. And that's the concern of mine. And there's a lot of ways to play that particular technique. And from what I saw last week, he didn't run any of that. You saw some quarter, half. You saw some one robbery. You saw some cover two. So he's mixing things up. He's starting to figure out what his players can and cannot do. And that's the sign of a good football coach. You see how the calls have come along each week, how he's changed things up. And he now has an understanding of what some of the guys can and can't do. And he's trying to keep guys out of certain situations by how he's calling the plays. Mm-hmm. You know, but eventually you're going to have to play some man-to-man because, again, when you get to Penn State, and you get to Ohio State, they're going to put you in situations where you need to play man-to-man. You have to blitz, and you're going to walk up there and press. Mm-hmm. And that's what Ohio State wants you to do, is walk up and press and just throw deep balls, say it's a 50-50 ball. And I think right now we talk about one guy, number 30. He's the one guy that can match up man-to-man. What about the other guys? They haven't shown that ability yet. They have not been put in that situation either. Mm-hmm. And Mike has done a great job of keeping guys out of those type of situations. If he can continue to do that, I think the defense will be okay. And again, we can contend for the Big Ten championship. And my biggest thing right now is we got to score more points. When your defense is playing outstanding in the first half like they're playing, and I think we got 20 points, that's not enough. It's not enough, guys. We need to score more points. Open it up. Let's see what the offense can do throwing the football, and let's get more points. You know, 97, I know I'm going back. I'm old. We played every game close because at times we were very conservative on offense. So we kept games close. We said we're going to shorten the games. Well, you know what? Let's open it up. Let's not shorten the game. Let's score some points and let the defense play with the lead. See what happens.
Are you taking us in the meeting room back in 97, Vance? Is that what you used to say?
I don't want to do it, but we have to. Let's ride. I'm good. Let's get on this train and see what happens.
Did you used to say, hey, we balling over here, but y'all better put some more points on that scoreboard over there.
You know, I was one to always, speak up. I was not shy about that whatsoever. I remember we played our that year. We were losing. We all stressed out our coaches and the players like that. Coach, we got this. What's them guys said, Coach, come, we got this. And we came out and they had it. They told us the truth. They knew what they were doing. Coaches in a panic. I'm like, man, we're going to try to score some points, man. That's right. I mean, we can't keep everybody for 13 points or less. What we doing?
See, now y'all know how things go. Well, how things went in the meeting room with Vance Bedford was in there. It didn't pull any punches.
I kind of spoke up when I had to. So people say, Vance chill a little bit. Now chill is when I get old. I'm old right now, so I'm chilling right now. But when I was at that age, it wasn't time to chill, baby. We need to get some points. Let's go.
All right. So how you see this game playing out? Michigan, Nebraska. How you see the defense faring in this game, Vance?
They're going to spread us out. I think early on, the speed, the formation, what they're going to do to us, I think we could have some adjustment problems early on. I think as the game progresses, our players will settle down, figure out what's going on, and get control of the game. But I think our offense is going to have to control the line of scrimmage offensively for us and get us some points early so now we can pin our ears back and rush the passer. But if we keep it close in the fourth quarter, I think we could have some problems.
Gotcha. All right, Vance. Well, we'll be back next week to talk all about it, folks. You can always catch these defensive breakdowns, the offensive breakdowns, the chats with Devin Gardner and Jack Miller and all of the recruits and recruiting coaches and all of the coverage that we get video-wise on our YouTube channel, the Michigan Insider YouTube channel. Be sure to like and subscribe to that YouTube channel. You can help keep us going and growing. So we appreciate you. We'll be back next week on another edition of the Michigan Insider Defensive Breakdown.
Go Blue.